This is what I'm going to draw, but let's not talk about it. Let's do it. Now, to draw a sort of French cafe table, I'm going to start by drawing an ellipse. And we're going to want to have a kind of the side at the edge and the thickness of this table as well. So we've got an ellipse like that, come down a little bit each side, and then sort of copy that bottom curve there like that. Now each leg is going to be kind of attached sort of underneath a bit like that, so you can kind of plan it a little bit like that by kind of imagining where they're going to be attached underneath. And what we want is like an hourglass shape, so that's going to come in like that. Nice sort of curve there, a little belly I suppose, like that, and then kind of back down like that. So it's kind of similar sort of shape coming down there and all the way down there. And then you're going to want to work out the thickness of it as well. There. And then from here we'll do pretty much the same. So you want to do kind of the opposite really, and bring that in about there. And that will sort of come around like that. But it's not going to be landing on exactly the same spot. So here again, we're going to want to have an ellipse. Just draw this very, very gently, because you're going to want to erase it later. So this is all the planning stage. And don't forget, if you get a bit sort of lost and confused, you can always stop and restart this video anytime. You're not going to wear out the internet. So we'll bring that kind of about across there. So this one is going to want to land somewhere down there, and this is going to be a much more gentle kind of curve, like that, and will be a similar one coming out to about there. And then this one is going to be pretty much the same again, a much gentler curve, and that's going to be finishing on that side of this sort of bottom ellipse. But remember, this is just for planning. You're not going to draw this ellipse. And then inside here you're going to get another ellipse, because you're going to get this kind of hoop, metal hoop, which is going to be probably sort of screwed in or welded like that. I'll just move that a bit, and before I ink it in, if you've got this far, you obviously like drawing, so click down there and make sure you're subscribed to Draw Stuff Real Easy. Ring that little bell so you get notifications, because I do lots of new drawing videos every week. Now we're going to go around this edge, and then it sort of comes down that little bit, so we have a thickness to this round tabletop, so that will then come around there, nice sort of join with a curve. And what we can do is sort of start from the middle there, and then we can just kind of let that fade out into dots at the edge there. Okay, have some little dots at the edge, and then I think we need to do this one in the middle first, and I'm going to start right down at the bottom there. It's a little bit awkward for me because I can't move the paper around, but you're allowed to move the paper around. And you don't have to make yours look exactly like mine. I'm just showing you how I would do it, and you can sort of do your own version, do it however you like, but this is how I do it, and you can take from it what you will. So that's that one there, and then I'm going to do this one here. And yeah, like I say, it's a lot easier if you can sort of move the paper around and sort of draw it sideways on, or whatever, however you feel comfortable. That is the most important thing, is that you draw it your way that you feel comfortable about. And if I'm doing it sort of a way that just doesn't quite feel right to you, it's okay. You can do it your way. Right, and then we'll do this curve up there. And I think that's the thing about drawing, is that, ideally everybody wants to draw in their own way, because that then makes drawing really interesting. And if everybody drew the same way, then it wouldn't be interesting. But you kind of learn by watching how other people do things and just having a go. Think, I like that. I don't like that. And as you keep going, then your style starts building up. It's kind of a whole mix of stuff that you've learned from watching other people. Now we're going to do this sort of curve on the inside like that of this hoop, so that will come down there. So we'll just put some kind of little bolt or something on there, and then that will be then on the inside, so that then we can draw this curve coming up there like that, and then that will come down again to hit the ground where that circle is, that ellipse is on the bottom. And an ellipse is is like a circle that you're looking at from a side angle. When you are absolutely sure that the ink is dry, then you can erase those pencil lines. And I'm going to add an extra little bit onto that hoop to give it a kind of a thickness as well. And then we have these kind of ellipses just plonked on the bottom here. They're just kind of plates that are plonked on the bottom to make it stand a bit easier and save the ends wearing out. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do these little sort of curve across there and then darken above it. So that'll be like shadow. And you're going to get a bit of shadow in underneath there as well, probably. Let's put a bit of shadow in there as well. And I'm going to do some kind of shadow in here. These are getting smaller and smaller and further apart. And again here, they can go smaller and smaller and further apart. And then we might have a little bit of shadow on each side of that as well. And we can do something similar on the edges here, so we can have these little lines and they'll get smaller and smaller and smaller and further apart. And they'll go smaller and smaller and smaller and further apart. And that just kind of gives the feeling of the curvature. And then I think all we really need to do is to maybe flick some shadow in there to put it on the pavement, on the sidewalk, whatever you call it, in a street in Paris. Now you could, if you wanted to, just put a little bit of shading on each side like that, and this will take you sometimes, so take your time, but I'm feeling like what I really need to do is speed this whole thing up. When you get up to the top here, you could actually make these a little bit wider until it sort of gets up to there. These back ones here, you could actually sort of make them slightly bigger so that the back leg looks like it's in more shadow, which will help to send the whole thing backwards. And again, so these are just kind of little dots added on the side. And do take your time doing this. It's a kind of a moment of mindfulness and peace and calm. Don't rush it. And then we can just maybe put a little bit of texture in on the top of the table like that. And there you go, how to draw a French cafe table. Thanks for watching, and keep coming back to Draw Stuff Real Easy for lots more drawing videos every week. In the meantime, keep drawing, 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 practice, 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 and I'll see you next time. You take care now. Bye-bye.